Hello everyone. Now, the last video was about me rebelling. This video is about my kids. Now, at the time when their mom passed away, 2017, we're now May 2023. So at the time when their mom passed away, one was 3.5, one was 12 going for 13, one was 14 going to 15, and the other one just turned 17. All 4 boys. Now, at that point in time, I was 51 years old. Now, if you take me 51, and my mom is still alive because my mom passed away 6 months after my wife. So I was 51 going to 52. Now, if you add up all 4 my boys' ages, when my mom passed away, I was 51. She passed away in September 2017. I was 51 at that point in time. Going to 52. Now, if you count all 4 my boys' ages, it doesn't even come to 51. So, how at a loss are they? How compassionate and comforting must I be towards them? Because I had my mom for 51 years plus. 51.5 years. They only had their mom for such a short time. 3.5 years, 12 years, 14 years, 17 years. How do you compare this? And then they rebel and they ask me questions. Why must we do as God says? Why must we even believe in God? Because look what has happened to us. We lost our mother, we lost our grandmother, we lost our grandfather, and we lost our uncle whom we love so much. And why they love their uncle so much is because we are 3 brothers and 3 sisters. Our kids never ever witnessed any of us fighting. They never ever witnessed any of us being angry at each other. 3 brothers and 3 sisters that lived in perfect love towards each other. Yes, we did have our sibling rivalry. Yes, we did have our arguments. Yes, we did have our fights. But it only lasts that moment. It doesn't last past that moment. Before the night is over, we're going to hug and kiss and make up. That is who we are. So all my kids know is love, because it's all their mother has given them. For all the time she's with them, from when they were born till when she passed away, all she's given them is love. Love and caring. She's given them a home to come to. She's given them a happy home. She's given them a home when they come from school or from anywhere. They run to be home, because home is a beautiful place. Before I got married, I used to work late hours. After I got married, my hours changed, because all I wanted to be is I wanted to be home by that beautiful woman. And this is what they lost. So they're coming to me and they're asking me all these questions. And now, what do I do? How do I get past? How do I get them back onto the straight path? Not that they moved off the straight path, but they're asking me many questions. And I sat with them, and only thing I could do is I could start at the beginning. And the beginning of all of them and myself is their mother. And I could speak to them about her, tell them how beautiful she lived her life, how beautiful a person she was, and how beautiful she was to everybody, and how beautifully she worshipped God. And I got them back onto the path, because the two bigger boys, Farana Balaam, I every time speak to her as my wife. She has passed away, but I still speak to her as my wife. My name is Abdul Wahab Halde. So she was Farana Balaam Halde. And not that she needed to be Halde. She could stay Farana Balaam, because that is her father's name. Balaam is the surname of her father. So she could stay Farana Balaam. She did not need to attach the Halde to it. The only reason we attached the Halde to it, so that everybody out there knows who she's married to. And everybody out there knows that she's a married woman. So we use Helde as the second name to Balaam. We don't change her name completely and say Farana Helde. It's Farana Balaam Helde. And so this is how we do things. We do things in a beautiful manner. And I sat with him and I looked at him and I said to them, you know, this is, your mother sacrificed early mornings, late nights to teach you people this Quran, to teach you this holy book, to help you memorize this book. And the two bigger ones did memorize the book in her time before she passed away. They memorized that book. To memorize 840 odd pages is not easy. Not easy. It took them nearly 3 years to do so. And when I speak to them about their mother, their love for their mother is so much that they will just break down and they will do as she wanted them to do. And they came back and they said, for our mother, we will read this Quran again. For our mother, we will read this holy book. For our mother, it's like a Christian child reading the Bible. It's like a Jewish child reading the Torah. It's the same thing. It's all just a continuation from the Torah, Bible to the Quran is the last chapter. So it's all the same thing. So we do not make comparisons between a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, or Hindu, or any other religion. We do not make comparisons. We only say that we are Muslim and this is what we believe. A Christian believes that way. Nothing wrong. That is the way they believe. And that is the way we must respect each other. Because God says to us, I created you in tribes and nations, not that you may fight and kill one another, but that you must love and respect one another. This is God's message to us. So, in fact, Farana Balaam's best friend was a Christian lady by the name of Jenny, who she met at the Curves gym. Curves is a ladies' gym. Farana Balaam would only go to a fully ladies' gym. She would not take off her cloak in front of men. So she'd wear jeans in this house, and when she'd go out, she'd put a cloak on and you didn't know what's underneath. So this is Farana Balaam. And when speaking to my children, in fact, I had so many friends. I can mention such a lot of names of primary school and high school. And majority of them are Christian, maybe 1, 2 Muslim. And they were beautiful friends of mine. Friends that I still sometimes meet and I can still hug as a brother. And they were Christian friends. And I love them as my brother. So this is what God teaches us. However, we move on. And then my children says to me that we will do this for our mother. We will read this Quran for our mother. Now you must know, when you memorize the Quran, you got to read it every day. Each and every day you got to read plus minus 30 pages, which is one chapter. There's 30 chapters, so you need to read one chapter. Now I'm just speaking to you. I'm not even going to check how many of this, how many. I'm just speaking to you because I can't write things down. If I write things down and I come here and I must now memorize things, I will stutter all the way. I still stutter sometimes. I still stutter, but the thing is this: whatever is coming to you live is from this head of mine. It's from what I remember, because it's only the truth is here. So I can't write something and make something like superficial, like no, say this, say that, because that is so great. No. I don't do that. I only tell you as I remember it, and I only tell you the truth. And I sat with my boys. Now, at the beginning, that was good enough for me that they now coming back to reading the Quran again, coming back to reading it every day. But what I'm sure of is that the 5 daily prayers, they've not missed out on that because I do that with them. So that was always intact. They came back and started reading the Quran, but now for a very long time, very long time. And they're back on track. If I must tell you how my kids start their day, I will just tell you. They start the day, we read what we call the Fajr namaz, the morning prayer. After that morning prayer, we read a surah which is called Surah Yasin. It's called the Qa'at of the Quran. We read that surah. And then from there we start our day. Now from there I carry on and start my day. No, not my kids. From there on, they read that one chapter of the Holy Quran. They read that 30 pages, one chapter of the Holy Quran, and thereafter their day starts. This is how they start their day. And this is so beautiful because my kids are an inspiration to me. My kids are an inspiration to me because why? When I was 23 and 21 years old and 19 years old, I was nowhere near where they are at this stage in their life. I was nowhere near. I was wild out there. I was nowhere near this. I was nowhere near this. I was nowhere near where they are. I was totally wild. And that goes for everybody's kids. I just feel that the generations coming now are more holier than what we were back then. I just feel that the generations coming forward now are generations moving forward to a better religious life. I just feel that. A lot of people might disagree to that. But in my home, and in the home of my siblings, and of my cousins and close family and friends that I know, my cycling friends especially, because we speak about this, the kids are growing up in a manner which is much better to what we were. Much better to what we were. So the entire world is moving more towards religion. The entire world. A lot of people might not be thinking it or looking at or seeing it, but that's how I see it. That's how I definitely see it. I don't see it as them being how we were back then. They are definitely moving forward. So coming back to my kids, the thing is, now they're back on the track. They're back on the track. They're doing as their mom has taught them in this home how to do. But for me, that was not good enough. You know why it wasn't good enough for me? Because what they were doing was for their mom. God was out of the picture. And that was not. Basically, they were praying, doing the 5-time daily prayers, and reading the holy book, but they were doing it for their mom. They weren't doing it for God. Now, I had to get them from the point whereby they are doing it for God. And at this point, I am thinking to myself, how do I go about doing this? Now, in my day, if I had to tell my father, why must I believe in God? Poof! I'd be lying on the floor. I'd be lying on the floor because my dad's name is Joe. His name is not G.I. Joe. His name is just Joe. Because back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and the 70s, back in those days, the 80s, everybody had a nickname. His name was Joe, not G.I. Joe. His name was just Joe. And why his name was just Joe and not G.I. Joe is because he was extremely fast. He was extremely fast. There was no time. Because if you had to say to him, you just say G. When you get to G, poof, you're on the floor. You're lying on the floor. There was no time for I and Joe. So that's why they just called him Joe. So the time now for me now is in this time of ours, in the year 2023, or not just the year 2023, in this house, Frana Bellum had raised these kids with love, not with an iron fist. Her iron fist was love, compassion, understanding, spending time with him. That was her iron fist. And these kids only know that. If I speak to them a bit loud, not shouting at them, they'll ask me, but Daddy, why is Daddy shouting at us? And I'm not shouting at them, I just speak a bit loud. Because this is how Farana Bellum kept things in this house. Everything was done with love, with patience, with time. Giving from yourself. She's given from herself so much. Her only gift or her achievement from giving from herself so much is to have and raise her kids in the beautiful manner that she did. That was her only aim. So now I'm sitting with this challenge. And the days of Jordan Baker walking tall is gone. The days of John Wayne, Charles Bronson is gone. The days of the Wild West is gone. The best way to raise your kids is with love, understanding, and spending time with them. Putting that cell phone one side, because this is what Farana Bellum and I did. When Farana Bellum and I are together, there's no cell phone is allowed. It's our connection. This is how you spend time, how you give love. You don't give love by buying expensive toys. You don't give love like that. You give love by giving of yourself. It's easy to buy them toys. It's easy to spoil them with things, with luxury things and stuff. It's easy to do that. The most difficult thing is to give from yourself and your time to them. That's the most difficult thing. But that is the most beautiful thing. So I got them back onto the path. Our next video is going to be on how I got them to believe in God and how I got them. Well, they always believe in God. They always believe in God. They were just angry with God. They always believe in God. They're just angry with God. But how I got them to pray for God and how I got them to read the Quran, the holy book, for God. So that will be our next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.